Hello everybody, Marina back for another video. I know it's been a long time, right? I'm going to try to make a very short video today. I'm going to review a book, and the book I'm going to review is this one, Dancing the Death Trail by Fred Khumalo. I hope you see it, right? Okay, I finished this book, but I've been unable to find the right words to review it. Okay, though I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, I couldn't find the right words to just make you want to go and grab a copy and read it. So I hope that this video will contribute to your desire to read this book, because I don't know how to present it as just a tribute to the SS Mendi, which was a boat in the First World War that left South Africa with black people in general in there, going to fight the Kaiser, fight the Germans on the behalf of the King of England, because back in the days, let's say that South Africa belonged to Great Britain, and these people who were embarking on the SS Mendi were promised a better life after war. They were going to be paid properly. They were going to be treated more like human beings, and maybe they could expect equality on the motherland. We know now, because we live in this generation where we know. Back in those days, apartheid wasn't yet proclaimed, and it wasn't as tough as it became maybe in the 40s or 50s. I don't remember precisely when this MF declared the apartheid regime, but anyways, it wasn't official back in those days. So we are going to focus in this book on one particular character, who is Pitso. Pitso is a mixed race character. He's neither white nor black, and we are in South Africa, so he's supposed to be colored. He was birthed by a woman who will falsely made him believe that he is black. When I say falsely, because like I had issues with this book when I was reading it. I was like, this woman want her son to consider himself as being black, but if she wanted a black son or a black kid, she should have slept with a black man. Like, you're in love with a white man, you birth a mixed race child, you better tell the child that is how the world is going to view them somehow, because Pitso will have this conflict in his life all life long. Like, he will try to convince people that he's black, even the black people, and he will try to act blacker than the black themselves, and black people will always remind him that with a color like his, with the type of hair that he had, with the way he looked, like he couldn't pretend to be black. And even if things were tough for black people, they were not as tough for colored people, because white people, may they be simple beasts, they always remember that those colored people came from them, that somehow, be it the father or the mother, one of the parents must have been just like them, so they would treat them with more, let's say, regard somehow. But that's not the main issue in this novel. The problem I had reviewing it is because I don't know, the writing is good. I love how Fred Khumalo have this way with words. Like, when he starts telling you a story, you don't want him to stop. But I stopped reading the book because my month of November, because I started it in November, my month of November was kind of hectic. I had to put things together, and I didn't want to read it just for the sake of reading it. I really wanted to enjoy it because the story was interesting. So when I came back, I came back to this book, I mean, it took me a day to finish Dancing the Death Trail. So we go through love story. There's a love story. Oh, there are love stories in there, but this is not a romance novel. We do have war, but this is not the trauma kind of book. You know, we have drama in the novel, that for sure. I said South Africa, I said race relations, and this problem of identity, knowing who you are when you're mixed, how you see yourself and how people view you, how you conceive yourself and how people describe you and want to put you in a certain box. So yes, I think I'm expecting my mixed race friends to read this book first so we can discuss it openly, because there are things that I wanted to say, but I'm always like, it's very delicate when you're talking to mixed race people, especially those who consider themselves black. Read the book and let's discuss it. Because at time I wanted to get in the book and tell Pitso, Tika, I wanted to tell Pitso he was neither black nor white. It doesn't matter if white people don't love you, want you, or recognize you. Black people are not going to fool you and pretend that they don't see that there's a drop of whiteness inside of you. He's a brilliant man, but this identity issue will kind of spoil his life. So yeah, I loved the fact that it's supposed to be a fiction, but it's so realistic. And I was there. I was there with Kavini. I was there with Tlali. I loved all the characters. The secondary characters in here are very interesting. I'm not telling you exactly who the opposition in the book are, because I want you to discover these characters. I want you to meet Heg. I think his name is Heg. Is the red hair South African soldier. Yeah. You need to read you need to read it. I told you I don't know how to review this book because I think I focused a lot on Pitso's character and what he was going through. Though I was looking at what was going on around him, because the story sometimes takes place in France, and in the beginning we are in Paris also, but I cannot tell you because giving you too much information is definitely spoiling the book. Talking about Pitso is different because you will have to see how he was conceived. There's a kind of hierarchy that is created by the ruling system in South Africa that placed the white men on top, and then you have the colored maybe, and then the Indians, and then of course at the bottom you have black people. So even for black people, when you're colored, for you to consider yourself black is like who are you trying to fool? And for colored people, it was like, oh, that's simply because you're too fair skinned and you're so white you can allow yourself to pretend that this is what's going on in your life. I also love the fact that in this book, at certain moment, Fred Khumalo made us realize that even as black people, we always tend to understand our stories and our own system, if it is explained to us using the codification of the white man's world. You know, there's a king in this novel who goes to war and he does certain things, and you have all these black people protesting against it, like, why, who does he think he is, why does he do that, etc. And then Tlali explained to them, it's like what this king is doing with these people is exactly what the white man is doing with us, using us as he pleases. We don't say anything. We belong to the king. We are serving the king. But when a black man tried to do the same, there we go, protesting. There we go, remembering that we are human beings too. But those systems used to exist in our countries long before the white man came. So why are we respecting the white man's doing more than we are respecting our ancestors' heritage? Like, why? And it doesn't linger on that either. It's just that there's an idea there. You can sit down, read it, reread it, and think about it and be like, yeah, you're right. Clearly, you're right. And, you know, sometimes you want to address the writer. You're like, this idea is good, but then you remember they didn't need you in the first place to write their book, so they knew the idea was good. That's why it was kept in the book. So please pick it up for 2021 and let's discuss it. Even if you're not from South Africa, this one is available on the book depository. I think that's where I got my copy from last year, because I didn't buy it in 2020. I bought it in 2019, I guess. So you can find it. Even if you live in Europe, you can easily find this book. Buy it, read it, let's discuss it. It's I found it very enriching because Fred did what he does very well, is that he tells you history, like the real history, the world history of black people or South African people in a fiction that when you're reading it, you realize that it's not 100% fiction, because even at the end of the novel, it provides links and references for you to go and look for much more information on the SS Mendi and the First World War situation for the African people. Because I went to school in France, I keep telling people, and we were told that the American came and saved France and Europe. We were never told that black people from the motherland, be it from Senegal, from Nigeria, or from South Africa, came and sacrificed themselves for this country, or this continent, should I say, because they call it World War, but theoretically it was European war. We weren't supposed to participate. I mean, our ancestors didn't have anything to do with that war. It was brothers killing each other, but they took outsiders and used them as protection. You know, they were living their life peacefully, and the black people were going to fight a war that they didn't even understand, based on promises they were made, like freedom and money and stuff like that, equality, which they never gained, not, especially not in South Africa. Yeah, we know we know what was awaiting them. So please read this book. Let's discuss it. I loved the Zulu part in it, the Xhosa. I loved Dembele. Every culture in this book I loved. The language I adored, and the rhythm was just breathtaking, because chapters are very short, so it's fast paced because the chapters are so short. Next thing you know, you're already in the middle of the novel, and you're curious. You want to know what becomes of Pitso and what becomes of his friendship and his family and everything. So the only thing I want to tell you for sure is that you need to read this one by Fred Khumalo, Dancing the Death Drill. A lot of drama, no trauma. History, the way I love it, because you discover things you never heard of. I didn't know about the SS Mendi. I never knew that there were South Africaners in the conflict, in the World War conflict. So I'm discovering things, and I love it when it is done from the point of view of those that I never talked about, and those that they never include when people are talking about history in general. So voila, Dancing the Death Drill by Fred Khumalo. Yes, that's it for me today. See you in my next video. Bye bye.